One of the most common dilemmas for parents around the world is about kids and alcohol. So what do the experts say about when kids should be allowed to drink? Right around the world, what we're actually finding is that illicit drug use seems to be dropping. That is, less marijuana, less cocaine, less ecstasy. Unfortunately, the drug that seems to be on the increase is alcohol. The latest research tells us a couple of things. First of all, the earlier kids start drinking, the greater the problem. Very important study by Ralph Hingson in the United States found that 47% of young people who start drinking before the age of 14 become alcohol dependent, compared to just 9% who start their drinking after the age of 21. Now, this is problematic because 50% of 10-year-olds have already been given some amount of alcohol. It could be a little sip, it could be a glass, normally in association with some kind of family celebration or national holiday. So that becomes a practice which we need to basically wipe out, because the earlier you start drinking, the greater the chance of problems developing later on in life. What the research is telling us is that if you start drinking before 14 years of age, you double the risk of alcohol dependence by 21. So what does alcohol do to the wiring of the teenage brain? Basically, there have been a number of animal studies now and a few human studies that show that alcohol is toxic to the developing brain. One of the things that we found is if we use animal studies, particularly with adolescent rats, what we find is that adolescent rats do not have the mechanism that allows them to know when they've had enough. And this is one of the reasons why teenagers particularly drink an awful lot of alcohol. What's the figure? Well, it varies from country to country. But we're looking at one study now that says 1 in 20 teenager drinks up to 50 standard drinks a month. Now, you need to think about that. We know that 50 standard drinks a month is enough to cause significant brain damage. In Australia alone, we've got a situation where alcohol kills at least a teen a week. Normally, through overconsumption, they simply die of alcohol poisoning. Here's a tragic story of a young man, Nathan John Bowden, who died on his neighbour's front lawn after playing a drinking game where you drink one shot of vodka every minute for 100 minutes. Now, the problem is too many young people don't know that you can drink enough alcohol in one session to kill yourself. So what do we want to do? Well, there are a number of different opinions. Professor John Toombrue from Deakin University says, look, the legal age in most countries where you can buy alcohol is 18, that should be the age at which they start drinking. If, in fact, young people start to drink, then you need to change the situation. You need to basically try and reduce their use. Some people would argue that it's better that the drinking age should be 21, as it is in many states in America. Other people argue that it should be 16. What is the truth? What do we do? I refer you to the work of the Australian Drug Foundation, and I believe that their advice to parents is ideal. They're suggesting that we delay alcohol consumption for young people for as long as possible, preferably until they're either 15 or 16 years of age. After that, there's nothing wrong with introducing them to alcohol in moderate and responsible amounts in association with a meal. Totally important.